What's up, tired mamas? It's Melissa here with the Cradle Coach, and I have a very special treat for you today. My COO, my lead sleep consultant at the Cradle Coach, and my right-hand girl is here to teach you how to naturally wean your child from all nighttime feedings. So grab a pen and paper and get ready to take detailed notes on what you need to learn to get your child to sleep through the night.
What's up, tired mamas? It's Rachel here with the Cradle Coach, and we are talking all about weaning from those night feeds. We all want it so badly. We can't wait to get there. We can't wait for it to happen, but we need to know, how do we do it? When do we start? How do we get started? And what does that process look like? So stay tuned to find out more about weaning from those night feeds. Before we get started, we want to be sure that you touch base with your pediatrician. Get that green light to really make sure that your baby is ready to drop those night feeds. Your baby must be gaining weight at a steady and healthy pace and at an appropriate weight where those night feedings can easily, slowly kind of fade away to allow us to increase those daytime calories. So once you get the green light and you're ready to move forward, let's get to it. While preparing to wean from those night feeds, we really want to be sure we're actually focusing on those daytime feedings. Be sure that your baby is taking all they could possibly want at what we would like to consider scheduled daytime feedings. That way you have an expectation of how long your baby can wait to feed during the day, whether that's 3 hours, 4 hours, whatever kind of routine and schedule that you have in place. From there, you really want to increase the amount that your baby is getting at their daytime feed. Now, we don't want to increase the frequency of those feeds, we just want to increase the amount that we are giving them. So if you're nursing, be sure that baby is emptying the breast and taking in a full feeding at each of those scheduled times. If you're bottle feeding, if the baby finishes the bottle, give them a minute to digest, get a good burp out, and once you know that baby might be ready for more, try to offer that empty bottle. If your baby goes for it, that could be a sign that they're actually looking to take in more at those daytime feedings. Once we are sure they are getting as much as they can possibly want at those daytime feedings, then we can really feel confident about weaning from those night feeds. We always, as parents, second guess ourselves on, is my baby waking because they're hungry? Are they waking because they just need help getting back to sleep? So a general rule of thumb is that if your baby is habitually waking at the same times each night, well, you guessed it, it's most likely a habit. And what they're looking for is that same thing they have now developed to understand that that's what helps them get back to sleep. They get a feeding. So they wake at that same time every night and they're looking for that same thing to help them get back to sleep. What ends up happening is those calories then are staying constant or increasing at night, and it is taking away from what they could potentially take in during the day. If your baby is not habitually waking in the night and just happens to wake at random times where they're looking for a feeding, chances are they genuinely could be hungry. Now, if a baby is waking and truly needing those calories, of course, we want to be able to offer your baby what they need. And it's just a matter of, again, going back to focusing on those daytime feeds to ensure that we can increase those calories and increase that intake in the day. That way, when we do go to wean, there is no question on, did they get enough, right? We want to allow them to make up for it during those daytime hours. So how do we do it? The first thing we want to do is start to prepare ourselves. Get a really good idea for what your baby typically takes in at any given feeding during the night. Then you're going to be sure that you are feeding them no sooner than the stretch of time they can go during the day. So if your baby is capable of making it between 3 hours during their daytime feeds, then we want to be sure we are feeding them no sooner than 3 hours in the middle of the night. Because if they can make it 3 hours during the day, we absolutely know that at a minimum, they can make it the same amount of time in the night. The night weaning process works slowly, and it does so that we don't make a drastic change for your baby. So how we're going to do it is by decreasing the amount that you're giving them only 1 night feeding at a time. So if your baby is getting 2 or 3 night feeds, we are only working on 1 night feeding at a time, so they can still take in the regular amount that they typically get at those other night feeds. When you're ready to begin, you are going to decrease the amount that you are giving them at that one night feeding every single night until that one night feeding is gone. From there, you go ahead and do the exact same thing to the next night feeding. And you want to continue to work on that pattern. If baby is breastfeeding, you're looking at decreasing the amount that they're getting anywhere from 1 to 2 minutes every single night until that feeding is gone. If your baby is bottle feeding, you're looking at decreasing that amount anywhere from half an ounce to a full ounce every single night until it's gone. Now, I like to say that the most important part here is that once your baby can move away from those feedings, we want to remain consistent with it. So that's where you're going to want to couple up this process along with a sleep training method that you are comfortable using. That way, if your baby continues to wake, we can teach them to get themselves back to sleep. Now, this goes hand in hand with being sure that your baby knows how to put themselves to sleep. That means the start of the night, the start of any sleep period that we put our baby down, we want to be sure that they are going down fully awake so they know how to put themselves back to sleep. That way, when they wake in the night, which all babies do, we wake in the middle of the night as well. We just roll over and we go back to sleep. So when they wake in the middle of the night, they then have that skill to be able to get themselves back to sleep. So use that sleep training method, stay consistent with it, and really allow them to adjust to those decreasing night feeds and those increasing day feeds. If you feel unsure or you're not feeling confident about the night weaning process, allow us to help. We are here to create custom sleep plans for you and your child and can also help couple it up along with a sleep training method. Reach out to us at www.thecradlecoach.com.
We hope you love those sleep tips that Rachel just gave. Go ahead and subscribe below and give us a like. We want to hear from you. And if you want more sleep tips, stay tuned so we can give your child the best sleep possible. We wish you and your family nothing but the sweetest dreams.